quick, hold on. Who do you say is the greatest then? Opinion out of it. Who do you recognize as the greatest?
Female rapper?
Yes.
Missy Elliot.
Okay. Missy Elliot. I can make this same argument against Missy. I just want to make an argument. I want to make an argument why I think Nicki should be considered the GOAT. Can I tell you my argument?
Okay.
Because we came up with a really cool debate show for Cab Stations, dropping them all. So we'll just give you like a sneak peek of what it is, okay? You ready? Okay. So I'm talking about, this is my opening statement. So this is me getting my Doughboy Cochran shit on, okay? And this is me trying to convince you that Nicki is better than Lauryn Hill. Because I don't feel like looking up Missy because I'm too high. So let me just read what I already have typed. I want to see if I change your opinion on the narrative, okay?
Okay.
Okay, cool. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I want you to take this walk with me. This walk down memory lane to a place where two beautiful black queens both held special but different places in the heart of hip-hop purists forever. Lauryn Hill and Nicki Minaj. And before we go any further, I want to take a brief moment to acknowledge the greatness of both of these women as both trailblazers and musical geniuses. For the purpose of this debate, I'm going to have to discredit the prosecution's argument for the sake of my client. But that, dog, stop.
Did you write this?
Yes. I worked very hard on it. But that doesn't take away from the respect and admiration of both of these legends. With that being said, there can only be one GOAT, and that is hands down Nicki Minaj. My job in this debate is to convince the jury that when it comes to bars, Nicki Minaj is the greatest of all time. I'm going to present my case with facts over opinion. Mr. Baker would love to voice his opinion over fact. You know, he does the voiceover. He's a funny guy. And as nostalgic as Lauryn Hill's music was, or those bars that might have impressed him in college, that was just a warm and fuzzy memory and not a fact. The fact is, Lauryn doesn't even rap enough to be in this conversation. I will cite lyrics, impact, sales, and awards to highlight how, hands down, Nicki is the GOAT. Lauryn Hill made a great R&B album with a couple of rap verses sprinkled in. Keep up as you take this walk with me to a place called The Truth. All right? Are you interested? Do you want to hear the rest, or is this boring and you want to talk about Antarctica?
No, it's interesting. I just don't understand why Lauryn Hill would be her top competitor.
That's what he said. And then he had a whole argument. But bro, I won't go through the whole thing, but let me just tell you a couple key facts about Lauryn Hill's GOAT status. Do you know on her solo album, she had 16 songs, right? Of the 16 songs she had, she didn't say one rap on 10 of those songs. On those other 6 songs, she had a total of 9 verses on her whole album. 9 verses.
That doesn't make her not a rapper, though.
But it doesn't make her necessarily a rapper that dropped the album. That's only 9 verses. That's like 5 songs.
I don't discredit Lauryn Hill at all. She's dope as hell, and she did change the game. But I just don't think that her discography is measured up to Nicki Minaj to give it a fair chance. You know what I mean? That's like putting Jordan up against an NBA legend that had like one really, really good game. You know, like you just couldn't do it. So,
well, what do you feel about what's going on in Antarctica?
Wait, no, here's how I feel about Nicki. I feel like Nicki Minaj is dope, bar for bar. She's for sure up there. But for me, like, Wayne introduced us to like a couple of artists that just rapped exactly like him. So
right.
Like originality, she made her own shit, but like for the most part, people just took the monster voice away from her and the bang wigs. Like
right.
she didn't have like a lot of cultural influence. Whereas Missy was making like actual like hits, changing the game. She was actually back in a time where like it was harder for females to pop like that. And she wasn't like, she went against sex appeal, which Nicki Minaj does not. Nicki Minaj does like everything sexy that we sort of want, like with the big ass and shit like that. So her whole thing is like being a Barbie, where Missy Elliott didn't even care about that. She just went like total art. And I felt like she made way better music with Timbaland.
Nah, but see, that's the thing. And that's my biggest thing, because I'm such a music fan. So I'm like a huge fan of all of them. And I think they're all super dope. But just like for, you know, debate factor. Like, you know what I'm saying? I can like look into it and you know what I'm saying, and see that. The thing that I think people be slipping on, like sleep on a little bit with Nicki, is that she really came in and dominated in a male really centric culture, and she really came in and hung with everybody. She was on records with Hove, Kanye, Eminem, like bar for bar. Like she was rapping, whether you like her or not. She was really getting in that ring, and I was just as a rapper, and I know you as a just on some art shit. Like she goes so before she even got an album, and on her album she was rapping. She had 36 verses on her album. Like she's a real spitter, and
I mean that's why she's
that.
up there. That's
Yeah,
why
I think
feel
people
like she's
forget
sure
that shit. I think, and you know, I started like coming to her defense because I was never like a huge Nicki fan, but at the same time, I'm like, if you don't like her as a person, you don't like her as a person, but don't take away from her body of work because it's really impressive. So then I started being like, fuck that. I'm a, you know, with the, you know, when we debate, I'm always like ride for her because I'm like, she's really fucking dope. That's the only thing I was trying to just say.
So
like,
are we talking about her as an artist or her as a rapper, like bar for
just
bar?
as an artist, period, but specifically as a rapper, I think when it comes to female rap, she's the best to me. Nobody bar for bar like gives you what she gives you for 10 years consistent.
You think she's barring up Young M.A.?
Absolutely. I think, you know what, I'm not going to say it easy like that. I just say that that's an interesting conversation. Like, because Young M.A. is hard too. Like she's a spitter, like, you know what I'm saying? So that's all I was saying. But I really want to talk about Antarctica. How do you feel? What do you think they're hiding there, bro? Because I know you know some shit, so tell me. Can I hit the weed back?
Have you seen Alien versus Predator?
Not enough to tell you anything I remember from it, but you can give me a brief synopsis if it's relevant.
No, if you're into Antarctica, that video you sent me the other day, it's literally the same things. It's based off of that. Nigga, they found like something drilled all the way to the center of Antarctica and they found aliens down there. It's lit.
Oh, is that is that based on a true story?
It's based on all the folklore that you've been researching.
What do you think is this though? So
it's fake, obviously.
All the world leaders, right? So Africa, Europe, Asia, America, all these different places, the world leaders divvy it up and different people get different stuff, right? All the world leaders just agree that Antarctica is just, nobody gets it. But Antarctica is hella big, bro. It's like bigger than the United States, but nobody goes there. You can't inhabit anything there. So I just wonder why is there only 4,000 people that live there? What is there that we don't know about?
I think Atlantis is there, low key, man.
What is Atlantis? Tell me about Atlantis. What do you know about Atlantis?
Atlantis is a hidden city that sunk. It's basically underwater now, and it's weird. Throughout folklore in multiple civilizations, there's just like evidence of this hidden city, you know, and no one really knew where it was. But it just, for me, it just makes sense. It's just one of those like dumb things that I entertain. Like, I just feel like if there was a hidden city that was overtaken by the water, why wouldn't it be in the most frozen part that we can't?
But how does it, wait, but just sheer mathematics, how does a city get, like, how does it with gravity fall underwater? And were there people in it? Do the people die underwater because they drowned? Like, what?
Yeah, I mean, like, think about what ruins are. Anytime you see ruins, that's some like civilization that lived there that was overtaken by, you know, another tribe or civilization, something that was conquered. Sometimes the people just up and leave. Sometimes like wildlife, because like there's fucking animals and shit. Like there were a lot of cities that were just, and then maybe like just over time, like they were forgotten about, and then you know, Earth sort of wore it down. Like anytime you see ruins, that's just a civilization that used to be there, and sometimes it's wiped out completely and nobody ever knows about them.
So how many cycles over do you think have happened in the evolution to get us here? Like, so you mean there has been man, then man was totally decimated and wiped out, then somehow was created again?
No, I didn't say man. I just said this particular place.
Oh, okay.
So like, let's say this. Let's say, okay, you know how Australia is the smallest continent, right?
Mhm.
So let's say the polar ice caps continue to melt. It makes the sea level rise a drastic amount, and Australia goes completely underwater, and Florida and like Louisiana, so because those are like really down under sea level, those go completely underwater. If we didn't have the internet and like proper documentation, which we do now, which they absolutely did not back then, you might not, you know, in 100,000, couple thousand years, you might never know that Florida or Australia was a place. Your whole reality might be there's 6 continents. The United States cuts off it wherever's, damn it, I don't know what's next to Florida, Georgia, wherever is above Florida.
Okay.
That's where it's cut out. You know what I mean? Like it's definitely like there's definitely like been lost civilizations that have just been like nobody knows about because there's not the proper